Hello, below we present our project called Forensic Audit, a field little explored by Colombian accountants. The members of our group are Eileen Riveros, Karen Gobelay, Roger Cárdenas, and Diego Cuadrado.
Good afternoon, my name is Eileen Riveros. I'm going to talk about first part of this video.
Summary. The purpose of this research work is to know and analyze the factors that influence accounting professionals and students of this career when choosing their postgraduate studies. It is intended to investigate and publicize why currently in Colombia the specialization in forensic audit is so little known, and thus be able to expose the importance of this branch of auditing in our country, the need for it to be better known, for get your research expanded, and the benefits that this postgraduate option can bring to accountants and accounting students. Introduction. It is known daily how the various modes of fraud have been growing. The corruption is increasing, but publicly and privately. The basis of the new economy is knowledge. We are all free, but this requires more responsibility for direct companies towards global competitiveness. Unfortunately, in countries like Colombia, phenomena such as corruption and fraud, which are becoming high-risk situations for companies and the society in general, and which deserve special attention from the leaders of private and public organizations. Forensic audit is a practical model aimed at contributing to control efficient on compliance with regulations and effective use of public resources and private. Forensic audit is a more specialized audit, which public accountants should implement to control corruption, fraud, money laundering, and other illegal acts that can present in public and private entities. General objective. The general objective of this research project is to raise awareness of Colombia's need to be addressed and investigate more in the field of forensic auditing and the advance of public accounting professionals and future accountants, focusing more on a field as little explored as this. The specific objectives are inquire about the negative and positive factors that influence when choosing this branch of the audit by Colombian accountants, increase in public accounting professionals and students the interest in this branch of the audit, establish the causes for which in Colombia there is little preparation in forensic audit. Justification. The following investigation about the forensic audit is born from the constant cases of corruption that are seen in Colombia. With this paper seeks to explain the causes of the shortage of forensic auditors in Colombia. The need for this area is better known, researched, and who find in this a possibility to take their profession to another level, to be a support of justice against financial crimes. Problem description and formulation. First, description of the problem. Colombia is one of the countries with the highest corruption rates in the world. Currently has an index of 36 points according to the ranking of government corruption. This can be seen in the latest corruption scandal that hit the country, which was the Odebrecht case. Colombia is currently fighting to combat economic and corruption scandals, but as you can see, these cases are increasing every day, and it is because of the low appreciation given to such an important branch of the audit as forensic auditing is. Second, problem formulation. What are the causes of forensic auditing being a field so little explored in Colombia, and what makes it such a good option for professionals in public accounting?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Karen Gobelay. History of the forensic audit. Forensic auditing is a method of investigation, specialized in detection and prevention of financial crimes used by justice to support decision making in the courts. In this case, the public accountant is in charge of giving his opinion as an expert and presenting your opinion as expert evidence. Purpose: forensic accounting was considered exclusive as a field of action in the public sector, but in the private sector, the advance of globalization has brought new financial crimes and new methods to hide them, and this has forced companies to prepare themselves with better procedures to combat these crimes using forensic auditing. For this purpose, which has quickly become the ideal aid to prevent and discover these crimes. Objectives: fight against corruption and fraud, be an auxiliary of justice, promote transparency in companies. The forensic auditor. The forensic auditor is a professional with training and functions different from other auditors, and his field of action is normally interdisciplinary. Since the forensic audit is the activity is a structured practice where accountants, auditors, lawyers, researchers, technical groups, computer scientists, among others, that hand in hand and under the guidance of the forensic auditor conduct the investigation. The forensic auditor must be a highly trained professional. Forensic audit in Colombia. At present, important advances in this audit are not being advanced in Colombia because their popularity is minimal. Also, every day there are more frauds in public and private sector companies, which evidence the need to increase this type of studies, research, and professional practice in the country for being one of the countries with the highest corruption rate against public access. Despite its multiple applications and the great need to take advantage of it in the country, forensic accounting has not been valued in Colombia. In addition, there are few universities that offer this specialization. Therefore, it is necessary to implement some action plan in the universities so that interested in the investigation of the specialization is generated so that it is distinguished and increases the interest of future. In addition, there are few universities that offer this specialization. Therefore, it is necessary to implement some action plan in the universities so that an interested in the investigation of the specialization is generated so that it is distinguished and increases the interest of future.
Hello, my name is Roger Cárdenas. I will speak of the and methodology of the investigation. Methodology of the investigation. Next, the different methodological aspects that were followed in carrying out this research work will be defined. Type of investigation. The research that was used was descriptive, which consisted of characterizing a fact, phenomenon, an individual in order to capture its structures or behavior in order to develop a description of reality. In descriptive investigation, specific techniques are used in the collection of information such as observation, interviews, and questionnaires, and reports and documents prepared by other research can also be used. Most of the time, sampling is used to collect information, and the information obtained is subjected to the process of coding, tabulation, and scientific analysis. Investigation method. The inductive method was the one used in the count of research according to Mendes. Induction is about a form of reaction of argumentation. For this reason, it involves an ordered, coherent, and logical analysis of research problems, taking as a reference true premises. This monography was carried out based on the inductive method because the perception that students of and graduates the public accounting program of the San Antonio headquarters of the University de los Llanos have about the forensic audit was analyzed to research a general conclusion in a concrete punctuality, orderly and current way. Sources of investigation. Primary sources. The primary sources for the development of the work correspond to studying and graduates of the public accounting program of the University of Los Llanos, San Antonio, headquarters, who were asked at their perception of the forensic audit. The data obtained was used for the good performance of the research work where it provided information. This was used in the research work to obtain the necessary information to graph an interview that included a survey of the aforementioned students. Second sources. Here the basic external sources to obtain the information. These type of sources were used to investigate the concept of forensic auditing in textbooks, magazines, web pages, and electronic publications. Techniques. In order to obtain the necessary information to conduct the perception that the students and graduates of the public accounting program of the University of Los Llanos, San Antonio headquarters have about the forensic auditing, The following investigation methods were used. Interview. It is the communication established between the researcher and the study subject in order to obtain verbal answers to the questions raised about the processed problem, in order to inquire about the perception that students and graduates of the San Antonio Public Accounting Program have about forensic auditing. A personal meeting was held with some of them at the university and experts to have first-hand information to have an important contribution to investigation. Survey. The survey allows the counting of the motivation, attitudes, and opinions of individuals in relation to their research objectives. The questionnaire was applied to the students and graduates of the Public Accounting Program of the University Los Llanos San Antonio headquarters and contained closed questions to obtain basic information related to the research topic.
Hi guys, my name is Diego Cuadrado.
After observing the results obtained in the survey applied to students and graduates, and talking with some of them, it was found that the existing knowledge about forensic auditing is little, because during their time at the university the information was not provided enough on this topic. This implies that some of them think that forensic auditing is not important within public accounting, as they are completely unaware of its application. Lacking knowledge of the role of forensic audit, most students and graduates respond negatively by asking if forensic audit exercises control to prevent and detect fraud, based on the fact that there are currently many cases of corruption and it is not done. Nothing to prevent this, which is why they also affirm that existing entities do not exercise adequate control to avoid further affecting the assets of companies through criminal activities. The lack of control and professional ethics are the two reasons that for students and graduates have greater weight when committing fraud. Since an entity where control is very weak lends itself to any type of illegal activity, making it difficult to detect. In addition, professionals must have their personal and professional values well grounded, as this will help them to stay out of this type of illegal activity and to report them on time. In Colombia, there are currently no regulations regarding forensic auditing. There isn't significant advances being made because it is not a priority on the agenda, even though the judicial system is collapsed from unresolved processes, which is why the need for implement this type of studies and professional practices in the country, considering it's one of the countries with the highest crime rate against public assets. The academy provides training in the field of productive companies, but they forget about financial services. They provide training in the sector of private companies, but they forget the public sector. The training programs do not adjust to the market reality. A person who exercises his work as an auditor validates his knowledge through his years of experience, because it is known that there is no training in this field. The forensic audit is the result of a report for judicial or administrative purposes, in which an opinion is issued or a doubt is resolved about the occurrence of fraud or other crimes. The relationship between those involved and the evidence found is investigated, and in that process, the forensic auditor becomes a witness. Forensic audit has a purpose, its objective is methodological, is quantifiable, subject to regulations, has an auditor in charge, and has a support team that supports the evidence and testimonies provided by the forensic auditor in court. It has also specialized to offer new models and technical support to the financial and internal audit, due to the increased corruption in both the public and private sectors. When acting as forensic auditor in an investigation, all experience in accounting, auditing, and research is put into practice, as well as the auditor's ability to transmit financial information clearly before a court. Corruption reduces the tax and customs revenues of many countries in transition and developing. Taxes are evaded by smuggling and through transactions not established in books and fraudulent accounting, actions that ruin free trade and scare off investors.